guys, my name is Haley, and in this video I wanted to go through the very basics of making and setting up a pedal board. I got this request from Emily in my DM, so thanks Emily, about just how to make a pedal board from start to finish when you don't really have a background of knowing about all this stuff. So if you're someone that already has a pedal board or feels very advanced and is wanting like more advanced like signal chain tips and things like that, this video might not be for you. We are just gonna really go down to the basics. Sometimes I think when you have the big picture of like how you wanna do something, it's a lot easier than to figure out the details of like signal chain or power stuff when you kind of understand what you're going for. So I wanted this video to be that kind of big picture view on it. So the first thing before I start any of this that I do want to say is do not be intimidated by any of this. It's honestly a lot like cooking, like making cookies or something like that, where you can do it a lot of different ways. There's kind of like a way that most people generally do it, but like if you want to, for example, when you're making cookies, like if you want to do certain ingredients before other ones, that's okay. If you want to substitute out things, if you want to go off the rails and do your own thing, it's all really okay, and it's a matter of personal preference. So the more comfortable you get with kind of knowing like what things typically work or what you've heard before, the more comfortable you're gonna be with making a pedal board. I think for me, a lot of how I've learned more about this stuff is by one, saving people's photos on Instagram, or like looking at guitar players' gear that I really admire and kind of seeing like what they're using and what they actually think is important. Also, looking on the pedal manufacturers like pages and see like the specifics of that can really help you get to know that particular pedal. And then just kind of honestly trial and error. Like I've had, I feel like a lot of issues that I've fixed, and that's been a lot of my learning. So if you're new to this, don't feel intimidated. It's gonna be actually pretty straightforward how you can set it all up, and then you can start tweaking things and making it all your own. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to just put a blanket on my floor. I'm gonna lay out everything I have. Like you guys will see, I have literally deconstructed my entire pedal board, so it is in all pieces. There's definitely some gear that I'm wanting that, to be honest, I just can't afford quite yet. So I'm saving up for a few extra things, but I'm gonna lay out everything that I have right now, and we will get going. Okay, so I just got all of my gear out that I'm planning on using or maybe using, and I put it all on my little picnic blanket here. I don't always do this, but since I'm making a video, I thought I would. So I'm going to start off by just deciding on what gear that I do want to use. Hello, Lewis. On just deciding what pedals that I think I want to use on here so far that I know of. And I'm also going to start cleaning my equipment. So right now you'll see that a lot of my pedals do have Velcro already on the back. This is the rough side on here, and that my pedal board has the soft side of the Velcro. So that being said, having animals and also long hair, I get a lot of hair stuck in my pedals. I know it's kind of disgusting, but I'm going to be cleaning out my Velcro, and then also I will just use like a little cloth or like a little Q-tip and get the dust off. It helps to get it like so it's a little bit closer to the knobs. I'm just gonna kind of do an overall shine up of my pedals and make sure that my pedal board isn't looking disgusting. Okay, so for just a few basic things that you will want to start. First thing, the actual board. These can look a lot of different ways. There's some that you can like have these little pieces that like stick on the pedal board, kind of like Legos or something, and they like stick on the side of your pedal board so you can move it around. You don't have to use Velcro. Hello, Lewis again. So that is one option. Mine is a very standard kind that I use Velcro. So you can see that this is just the soft side of the Velcro that we've just got in that these like double side kind of tape. So you have like the soft side here, and then another one will be the sticky side that's rougher. So the rougher kind I'll put on my pedals on the back. You can see I'll usually do like one strip if it's small or two if it's big. So I'll put those on the bars here. This is just a pedal train, so it's metal. And then on the back, you can see this one has this kind of raised part here. And then I'm also going to be putting my power, which I'll talk about that in a second, on the back here. So I went ahead and I have 2 Velcros there. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be doing is deciding on an order for my pedals. So this is something that there are so many ways to do it, kind of like what we talked about in the beginning, like if you're making cookies or something like that. There is so many, hi Lewis again. Lewis loves my HX Stomp and my pedal board. But there's so many different ways that you can set up your signal chain, and it's kind of one of those personal preference things. A couple things for me in particular is I like to have my volume pedal on this side of the board because I'm right-handed. I tend to use my right foot for the volume, so that makes it easy to use my right foot and then bop it around to the other pedals because I'm using my volume pedal the most. So that is something to think about. So one thing too, as I'm going through and kind of deciding on my signal chain here, is also making sure that there is room for all these cables, because you think, you know, I have some of these more flat cables, and I'll show you this in a second, that have this like really flat part on them. And then I have others here that are thicker. If I was to go between here and plug those 2 in, this one actually goes on the top, but I don't even know if I'd have room for this. It's gonna get really squished in there. So that's something to think about, giving your pedals enough space on here. Like I could maybe move that over a little bit.
Yeah, so usually you want your modulations and delays and those like time-based effects to come before your reverbs. I don't really remember why, but I just remember reading something about that at some point.
I was saying before, like some of it's like a matter of taste.
Yeah, I mean, it probably just depends on how it sounds.
Honestly, Strymon and Reverb and Sweetwater have, I think, the best resources.
Yeah, they've got
on setting all that. And Creation Music Company has really good ones.
I'm pretty sure everything I learned from that one like Strymon guide. So.
I know. Check out that Strymon guide. It's amazing. Also, this is John. This is my husband.
Hi.
He's supposed to be working in the other room, but when he hears me doing things with pedal boards, he can't stay away.
It's too fun.
Do I have to take off the feet?
Well, this isn't going to stick as well if you don't, you know, since those are like...
Can you try it? I just painted my nails.
Pretty girl problems. It's kind of stuck in there.
Did you just paint your nails too?
I did.
Now I'm going to actually attach all of my patch cables in here and try to get this nicely wired up. Okay, so really quick, I did want to show you, so like most of these you see are short enough that they can just kind of run between these two and just kind of loop on top. But in the case like something like this, you see I have this, and then if I was to plug it into, this needs to go, this is going out from here and into here. You see, that's annoying. Like you can't really make it fit. It's gonna stick up and look all weird. So that is a case that I might want to try going under my board to do that. Loop it in here. And then bring it up under. I'm gonna try right here first. And pop it in there, and look how clean that looks. So as far as powering goes, I have this, you can't see it because it's covered in Velcro, but it is a pedal power by Voodoo. The pedal power, I think it's 2, I want to say. So as far as powering your pedals, what you want to do is look at each pedal and see what type of power it is. Chances are it's probably the 9 volt, which is all of these. This though has the option of doing this different section. So for example, with the Blue Sky, reading on their website, it says if you have a pedal power power supply, the Voodoo one, since this is so popular, they said use 5 or 6 because it needs a 250 power supply rather than what the rest of these are. So So all I'm going to do is just make sure that my Blue Sky is going in the 5 or 6 section here. These are all separate, so you can just get these and plug them into your power. And what I do to make sure the ones that need different type of power get it is I just put a little piece of blue tape around those connectors that are plugged into those different ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this, I have Velcro here, I have Velcro on the back of my pedal board. I'm just gonna wedge it in there, and you can see it has these 2 little jacks here. I'm going to make sure those go and line up with the holes. Okay, so let's do it. So now I'm just gonna go about plugging all of these in. So I'll start with like my tuner here. I'll just do that on this outside one. I'm just going to do it however it makes sense. So in this case, this tuner is on this side, so I'm just gonna wiggle this around and plug that in. And I'll just keep doing that with all of them until they all have power, making sure that these 2 are special power. I know that because I read about them, and this one actually came with its own power supply. So I'm gonna have to probably do some research and see if I can do that with my pedal power, maybe not. And then my Stomp is also gonna be different. That also takes more power, but these are going to be my regular 9-volt or these power. So I'm just gonna plug those into my back pedal power. Okay, so everything now is all powered up and connected. I have everything in the order that I want. So really quick, just a quick recap. I have my guitar running into my tuner, into my lowest drive here, and then into my higher drive. And then after that, I have it going through my volume pedal to my HX Stomp, which I have that as an effects loop because I have a reverb in there. So just to that, basically pedal. And then I have that going to my H9, which is delay, tremolo, chorus usually. And then to my analog delay here, into my reverb, and then into my amp, which is my HX Stomp. As far as power goes, I have normal power from my pedal power going to my tuner. This volume pedal, which normally wouldn't need, but this one, since it has the screen and tuner on it, it does need power. Into my preamp overdrive, my normal overdrive, and into my MXR Carbon Copy. And then I also have my Blue Sky in it in the higher powered section of that pedal power. Since I ran out of inputs in my pedal power on the higher power section, this would need 2 and this would need 2 of those. So I only have 2 total available. So I'm out of that. I'm going to get one of those another time, but right now I have this running separately power. I just am plugging that in. And then this is also separate power, which I have plugged in to my pedal power on a different section of it and then out. Okay, so from there, I'm just gonna tweak all my settings and I'm going to give you a little demo of my pedal board all done. Okay, so I'm just going to try a few different combinations so you can kind of see what I guess my process is for just kind of testing all of these out. So I'll just kind of try different combos like reverb and delay here and see, kind of tweak things a little bit. And see, just kind of experimenting like what sounds are pretty to me. Putting on a little bit of drive here. And then maybe figuring out what would be a good sound with my raw kind of sound if I was to do more of an overdrive sound. So now I have both of my overdrives stacked on top of each other. Okay, and then maybe I'll try more of like a chorusy kind of sound. so after that, I am totally done and I have my pedal board perfectly set up. From here, I'm going to tweak it probably many, many more times after, but that's just kind of my process. So I hope if you're looking to start building a pedal board or a little bit newer to this, this was helpful to you. I would love to hear your comments below, send me an email, whatever. And thank you so incredibly much for watching. You are amazing. And remember, don't be intimidated by any of this. You can do this and it's all really just about trial and error.